I would say for indoor recurve archery is much like compound archery. Obviously, this is for me, and maybe someone will tell you differently. But indoor archery is all about being really steady, having that great aim, and just having good timing. We'll always keep that timing in it. But your timing can be slow, as long as it's like consistent. But it's all about the aim. You just need to hold that bow still, and if your sight's on the 10 ring indoors, you'll hit the 10 ring.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how bad this live release is, because trust me, a lot of the time my release was pretty bad. But indoors, you could blast on through and shoot those 590s. Now, the scientist in me says, well, if you're hitting the 10 ring at 18 meters, why is that arrow not continuing on to the 10 ring at 70 meters? But it's just not the same. For me, outdoor shooting is all about the swing, the golf swing, the speed of the shot, having that consistent shot, and your technique and your release is what gets it in the 10 ring at 70 meters. Whereas at 18 meters, I can do a horrendous shot, and if the sight pin's on the 10, you hit it. And I don't understand.
It doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah. Do you know why there is this discrepancy? Because it doesn't make sense to me. The scientist doesn't understand it.
Yeah, I'd like to say I understand. Honestly, it is very tricky too, because like you say, it makes sense that if it's going to shoot, in the group at 18 meters, it should outdoors as well. The only way that I can understand it a little bit is if you've got, I guess, take an archery example, if you've got an arrow going, I don't know what it's going, 100 miles an hour, say, and you've got a crosswind, it's going to be affected X amount by that crosswind. If you've got an arrow going 200 miles an hour, and you've got a crosswind, then it's affected less by it. So the way I think about it is when you're doing the movement of the shot, if you can move faster, you're affected less by any little wobbles, that kind of thing. But there's still a part of me that completely agrees with you. And like you say, because you think, if I can shoot it at this distance, why does it not at 70 meters? But I had exactly the same thing as well, because I trained for a long time 18 meters in my parents' garden. That was like my early years of archery was indoor shooting, basically.
Okay.
So close range blank boss, 18 meters in the garden. I was good at aiming. I was good at indoors. And from a young age, shooting like what I thought were good scores at, indoor distances. And exactly like you, not quite the same amount, because I'd been doing some outdoor already, but I'd have the same thing. I'd be like, I shoot this score at 18. Why, even when I go to 30 meters, why is it not kind of comparable? And then when I go to 70s, they're so different. And
you're right to bring up
discrepancy.
You're right to bring up 30 meters there. I remember one summer where I don't think there was a single tournament where I didn't get the medal for best 30 meters, and yet I was like 12th in the tournament, you know. But I could shoot those 350s, 350s. What am I talking about? 358. So I could shoot, great 30 meter scores, but I couldn't deliver at the long distance. And to sum it up, it's outdoor shooting is about the shot. You get rewarded for a good shot. And indoor shooting, you get rewarded for a good aim. Now, obviously, some people can do both.
Yeah, and that's the real... And this is why it's difficult, right? Because a lot of people will, especially depending on what the weather's like, through pretty much the whole winter, they'll maybe shoot indoors, especially maybe in the UK or anywhere where the weather's not great, really. They'll do that indoors, and then they'll go to outdoors, and suddenly they've basically been practicing aiming and not been able to do the dynamic movement, and then they go outdoors and it's really difficult.
Dynamic movement, that is the key word there,
because
and for me, I found it led me astray, because I would spend 6 months of the year thinking I'm great, having people tell them I'm great, winning prize money, feeling like I'm on track, and then I'd hit that summer and boom, reality would hit. So I do wonder if I hadn't have done the indoor seasons, maybe I'd have made more progress outdoors. But then again, if I hadn't have done the indoor seasons, there's a chance I would have just packed up recurve because I wasn't getting any of the rewards and success that I liked. So it's a balance,